Well, hello everybody. This is Patrick Lysite from Cara Games. We're going to sit down and play a run through. We're here at Geekway to the west with a big crowd of 6 people lined up to play commission. They've never seen this game before, so it's going to be new to them just like it's new to you, and I'm going to teach all the rules as we go. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's on my iPhone, so it's going to be pretty rough. Here we go. All right, everybody say hi.
Hi!
Awesome. So we got 6 players lined up for the game of commission. We're going to be playing the basic scenario, which is called the Acts of the Apostles. The game actually includes 5 scenarios, but this is kind of the base overview game. And we're going to be playing on the easy level. There's Disciple difficulty and Martyr difficulty. Tonight we're on Disciple. Okay,
Yes.
So let's take a look at what we've got on the board here. Alright, so for commissioned, the goal for this scenario is to get a piece of any kind. So you see the pieces start up here in Jerusalem. We've got to get a piece in every city on the board. And we've got to collect the 9 cards that represent the books of the New Testament before either the trial deck runs out, that's the game timer, or we lose 5 churches. Anytime we lose a church, we take one of these extinguish tokens and we snuff out the candles. If we lose all 5 candles, then the game is done. Okay? So let's take a look at what else we got on the board. Down here we've got church member cubes. Those are your basic piece. Then over here we've got apostle pawns. If you play with less than 6 players, you'll have a gray meeple. That's called a missionary meeple that will simulate one of the players that's not on the board for you. Okay, so that's kind of where we start. Up here on the top of the board you have extra faith cards that you will be adding to your faith deck as you grow. You can see they're of different values that indicate their strength. We talked about the trial cards, and then down here we've got stops, 2 different kinds. We've got mission stops that interfere with movement, and growth stops that interfere with growth. Okay, then down on the board, these are all the 9 cards that represent the books of the New Testament. The game is played in rounds, and all of this is that I'm about to tell you is described on your individual player board. Each player board has a spot for a draw pile, your discard pile, the order of play, and a little summary of who your apostle is. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, you've got what your special power is. We'll go over all that here in just a second. In your starting faith deck, you have 2 types of cards. You've got 6 cards from your apostle that have your power on it, and then you have 2 cards that are word cards. Okay, so let's talk about apostle power. So we'll start over here with Barnabas, who's going to be the elder first. Barnabas removes growth stops so that the churches can grow where they are. Paul removes mission stops so the church can spread geographically. Andrew adds church members, bringing in new church members to your population. James adds movement, which will help you move as you're trying to accomplish your objective. John is good at collecting the books of the New Testament. He also helps you clean your deck in the deck building phase of the game. And then Peter over here is a little different. Peter doesn't have a board effect, but his cards are worth twice the faith of everybody else. So he's going to be able to get access to the major miracle cards of the book of Acts very quickly as the game goes on. Okay, the other 2 cards that you have in your deck are word cards, and they have a board effect on the top, which if you play for that, the card will go back into your deck and be recycled, or they have a book on the bottom. Okay, so the book or the books list a couple of books from the New Testament, and those match up to the spots on the board. So in this case we've got 1st and 2nd Peter, and you would take it out of your deck, play it onto the board, and now we've collected those books of the New Testament. Okay, so that's really the only time cards are going to come out of your deck is when you play them to the New Testament or when they get cleaned out by John's power to streamline your deck. So to start, I need everybody to take your 6 apostle cards and your 2 word cards and shuffle those into your faith deck. You're going to shuffle those up. You're going to put them down in the draw pile next to your board, and then with 6 players, you're going to draw a hand of 6 cards. So you'll have 2 left in your draw pile. Move that over here. So you should have 6 in your hand, 2 face down in your draw pile. Everybody good?
Yes.
Okay, and your draw pile is going to be over off the board right here. There you go. Okay. So, now the game is played in rounds. Each round has 3 phases. The first phase is the arm phase. That's what we did. We just drew cards, okay? The next phase is the live phase. And with 6 players, we're actually going to go through the live phase 4 times, okay? And then you'll be left with 2 cards in your hand, and we'll do the mature phase. And that's when you buy new cards into your deck, okay? All right, so we start with Barnabas, because Barnabas has got the elder token. This little elder token is prototype. It will be replaced by a 3-inch snazzy looking shepherd's crook in the actual print version. But for right now, we've got this little elder token. And the elder is kind of the decision maker for that trip through the live phase, okay? So each live phase will pass this over, and everybody will get a chance to be the elder. So as we play, first thing the elder has to do is do a trial. Dum, dum, dum. These are always bad. So we flip the trial, and the trial card is going to affect the city where the elder is. Right now we're all in Jerusalem, but as we spread out, it's going to begin to affect different places on the board according to who is the elder. Okay? So we take a look at this and we have to do what it explains. So right here, we have to lose a church member or a missionary. In this case, we don't have any missionaries to lose because we're playing with 6 people, so we've got to lose a church member. Normally, you'd want to lose a church member anyway because the missionaries will help you move, okay? The next thing we have to do is add a mission stop, and I'll explain more about that in just a second. And then we have to add a growth stop. We have to put that all on Jerusalem. Okay, so the next thing we've done trial. The next step in the order of play is pray. So with the 6 players, you're going to take 1 card out of your deck, and you're going to put it face down on the pray box on your apostle board, just like that. Just 1 card. At this point, you can't really make a mistake, so just pick one and put it down. Okay, everybody got one down? Sweet. Now I need the elder to roll the dice. Okay, so the die is a message die. In the first century, communicating is not easy to do. You get messages lost, spies, all that kind of bad stuff happens. So if she rolls a 4 or higher, we can talk. If she doesn't, we're not allowed to talk for the rest of the live phase. We're going to talk anyway, so you understand how to play the game. But 1 is the worst. So 3 you can't talk, 2 you add a stop, an additional stop, and then 1 you lose another church member. So we've got to take another church member out of Jerusalem. Way to go, elder. Yeah. You lost our message.
Barnabas.
Okay, come on, Barnabas. We're counting on you here. All right,
I'm praying.
So that's pray. So now everybody has to share their card. So turn your card face up. So now as a team we have 6 cards that are face up on the board. And it is the elder's choice to look around and pick 2 of those 6 cards to actually use, okay? Normally you'd be able to talk if you rolled a 4 or higher, but now we're not allowed to talk. I'm going to walk you through what your choices are. So this one will let you remove a growth stop from the region that you're in, which right now is the green region, okay? Now this card will let you remove a mission stop from the green region. This card will let you either remove a mission stop from anywhere on the board, or you can take it out of her deck and it can be added to Romans and 1st and 2nd Corinthians. That card over there is similar, except it's a growth stop, and it can be, it's the books of Timothy and Titus. John will let you take some cards out of your deck to streamline it, which at this point isn't really going to help you much, and that's another, you've got James, Hebrews, and Jude over there.
I get to do 2?
So you do 2 of the 6 cards. I'm going to recommend you do this one for sure.
Okay.
That removes the mission stop, and I'll explain why in a second. Okay, and then you can pick another card of your choice, either to affect the board or to start collecting the New Testament.
I was thinking about doing something like that.
Okay, so if you wanted to pull from somebody, pull it from Peter's deck, because Peter has more faith points than anybody else on the board. So you pull from Peter here, and that is James, Hebrews, and Jude. So we put that right there, and that is all set. So now you've done trial, you did pray, you did share. That's what we just did. So now if your card was picked or it wasn't picked, you put it face up in the discard pile. Okay, the only time a card comes out of your deck is just like that when it goes into the New Testament. Okay, now we do move. So when you're the elder, you can move anything on the board, and you get 2 moves. Okay, you can move 2 things. Okay, there are 2 types of moves that you can do, and you can do any mix of the 2. The first is called a mission move, and that's when you go from a city that has a church like this to a city that doesn't. To make a mission move, the place you're going for has to have at least 4 pieces, and you have to have at least 1 apostle or missionary meeple to go on that trip. So for example, we can do a mission move that looks like that, and you can take any number of pieces with you. I'll do that. Okay, so that's 1 move. Now you can do a second mission move that goes from here. Okay, you're always moving along the black lines in between the cities. Okay, so that was your 2 moves, and you're essentially done for your move action. Later in the game, if you want to move in between established churches, that's called a fellowship move, and you can just move church members by themselves. Okay, now it was important that we got rid of this mission move, because if there was a mission move here, that means you can't do a mission move from that location. So we would have been stuck in Jerusalem if we hadn't gotten rid of that. So we got rid of that. That's good. So the next thing we did trial, pray, share, move. Now we grow. So any church that has 3 or more pieces in it can grow. Does not have to, but it can. So this one has 3, or more than 3. This one's got 3, it will grow. This one only has 2, so it can't grow. But if it had 3, it wouldn't be able to grow anyway because it has a growth stop. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that's the end of the grow action. We're going to take the elder token, we're going to pass it to the left, and now we're going to go through the live phase again. And we're going to go through that 4 times until you're left with 2 cards, and then we'll buy new cards with the cards that are left. Okay. So now it is Paul's turn to flip a trial card. All right, so the church is fed to lions. Bum deal. Okay, so we lose 2 church members from where Paul is. In this case, Paul is over here, and there are 3 apostles and 1 church member. So we just lose the 1 church member. Apostles are never removed from the board. I know that's not very thematic, but we want to keep the players in the game. Okay, so that happens first. Okay, and then this next symbol is scatter, which means that everybody has to leave the church except for 1 piece. So you got to pick, of those 3 apostles that are up there in Jericho, you got to pick 2, and you can either move them together or separately to places that are adjacent. And they can be open cities or actual churches. So you can scatter forward if you want.
And if we were playing legitimately, we wouldn't be able to talk at this point?
Correct. The elder would have to make the choices. Okay. All right, so we scattered like that, and now it is time to pray. So everybody picks their 1 card. Well, actually, that's going to reset here when we roll the die. So it's only for 1 live phase, that communication restriction.
Oh.
Okay, so he's going to re-roll the die in just a second. So everybody picks their 1 card face down. Everybody's good. Go ahead and roll the die, Paul. You don't have a trace? Oh, man, come on. Okay, but fortunately for us, Paul left himself alone in the church and we have no one to lose. So that just means we can't talk. We're not actually going to lose anyone. All right, everybody turn your card over. All right, and now Paul gets to look. So he can pick a movement or a New Testament books. We got a church member over here that he can add to where he is. An extra move in the move phase, which probably isn't going to help too much right now because we don't have the pieces to move. Peter's not going to help us because he's just got a lot of faith, no board effect over there. And Barnabas removes a growth stop from the region, so that might be useful as well. So now you got to look and pick 2 cards. Okay, so go ahead and remove that growth stop from Jerusalem. Put that back in the inkwell. There you go. And now you got 1 more card. I would probably recommend getting the church member from Andrew's card over there onto the board. Well, up where you are in Jericho.
30 minutes.
Oh. The default is there. Yeah, you send it to where the elder's pawn is.
The elders, okay.
Unless it says that you could send it to any church, and it'll say specifically on the card. Okay, so we did trial, pray, share. Now we do move. Okay. So you've got this big church down here in Caesarea, and you can move that. You can kind of split that into 2 locations if you want. Okay, well, hold on. You moved 3 pieces over here to Gaza, which is good. Okay, that's fine. That means that'll grow. But now this only has 3 pieces. Right. So you can't move into an empty space because it only has 3 pieces. But what you could do is you could take this guy and move him here.
I also love 3.
So now that will have 3 and it will grow. So now we grow during the grow action. We grow 1 there because that's got 3, 1 here because that's got 3, and 1 here because that's got 3. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now you take the elder token, or elder staff, and pass that on over. And now it's Andrew's turn to flip a trial. So just as a hand check, everybody should now have 4 cards left in your hand. Okay. So we flip that over, and that's holier than thou, which means we get 2 mission stops where Andrew is. That's yellow. So that's going to go over here. So important to note here that Andrew is now in the brown region when everybody else is in the green region. So cards that you play when Andrew is the elder will affect this region, not that region. Make sense?
Unless any city in the region.
Any city in the region. Okay. All right, so we flip the trial card. Now we need to pray. 1 card face down. All right. Now you roll the die.
Higher than a 1.
Oh, 2. Okay, go ahead and re-roll it. If you roll a 1 through 4, you get a mission stop. If you roll a 5 through 8, you get a grow stop. Okay, grow stop. So now you can't do mission moves and you can't grow there unless we clean off some of those stops. All right, time to share, and you're still not allowed to talk, but I'll help you out. Okay, so we got add a church member over here, remove a mission stop, add a movement, clean out your deck, get an extra move, or collect the books of 1st and 2nd Peter. What would you like to do?
Okay.
Good. That's one. And I would add the church member. That's probably going to help you out the most. Actually, no, I take that back. You take his movement card over there, and I'll explain why in a second. Okay? Well, no, you say you're going to use it. So now everybody shifts their card over, right? And so now normally you would have 2 moves, but because you picked a card with extra movement on it, you'll have 3. Okay? So you can move anything on the board. You're not stuck to moving. This guy is kind of trapped, okay, by the stops. So we need to look at what can we do for other pieces to move them for success, right? So we can do this, take these guys and move them here. So that's 1 move, okay? We can take another piece from here and move it back, because this will still grow, but that gives us more pieces here. All right, so that's 2. And now we can take these guys and shift them here into Samaria, and that's 3, okay? So now we grow, and we can grow. We can't grow here, grow stop, right? But now we grow there, and we can grow there, okay? So now you take the token and you pass the token over to James, okay? And James is going to flip his trial card. Okay, endure trials. Life is not good with James either, okay? And all of these cards have a little citation on the bottom if you're curious as to why they are what they are and why they do what they do. There's a theme appendix in the box that explains all that stuff. So James is green, so we get those stops right there where he is. Now everybody prays their card face down. If you've done this right, you should have 2 cards left in your hand. All right, good deal. James, go ahead and roll the die. 5. Hey, we could talk and nothing bad happens. All right, James, good deal. Turn your cards over.
Saved us, James.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got remove a grow stop, remove a mission stop, add a church member, get an extra move, add a church member anywhere, because that says any one church. That's different from the other card. It's got a little remark there, or the books of the New Testament. And then this one is a church member anywhere, or Matthew and Mark. So, John or James, what would you like to do for your 2 cards? Probably want to get rid of this if we can. So that would be Paul's card. So we use Paul's card to get rid of that. Okay? And then you probably need another person to get yourself moving. So you can use that card right there. And that one is, normally you would have to put the, like if you used Andrew's card over here, you would have to put the church member here with James. But this card says any one church, so you can put it anywhere. So you could put it here, or you could put it over here, which will get you to move past the mission stop and the grow stop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can put this down here, and now you can do your 2 moves, all right? So you can move these guys out to here, where they can start growing again, and then we can move these guys into here, into Nazareth. Does that make sense?
So as soon as you got over 3, the stops didn't matter anymore?
We cleaned out, didn't we clean out this? Oh no, sorry.
No, we didn't move that. Yeah.
We
I'm
cleaned
sorry.
out the stops.
We moved
You
the
cleaned
ones
out.
up
Okay,
here.
you're right. I'm sorry. So I thought we had cleaned out the stop, but we actually cleaned out the stop over there. So we couldn't move that. My mistake. Thank you.
Sorry.
We can move this guy. No, you're good. All right. But we could still have moved that guy. Because we could still have moved that one guy out before. Because that was back into where a church was a fellowship move, not a mission move. Okay. So
we moved still, right?
well, we moved into here, didn't we? Oh no, we grew there last
Yeah, we did
time.
last time.
So we can move these guys to here, and I'll explain why. Okay. So Samaria does not touch Antioch, but if we move everybody here, that means on the next turn we can move them forward to where this guy, which means that we can leave that guy there to protect Samaria a little bit as we go. Okay. So now we grow. We can't grow there. We're stuck. We grow there. Okay? And now you pass the elder token to John, but before we start the live phase, you only have 2 cards left in your hand, right? So everybody put those 2 cards that you have left in your hand face down or face up on your board and count up the points that you have in the top left-hand corner, okay? That's how many points you have left to spend on new cards as we mature our faith decks, okay? So in the 1 level cards, you've got basic strength, kind of what you already have in your decks, okay? And the 2 level cards are all of the word cards. Down here, there's 2 of each card in the deck. The 3-level cards have 2 board effects, so add 2 movement, remove 2 stops, add 2 church members. The 4-level cards are major miracles from the Book of Acts. So get a whole bunch of people, move a far distance, clean out your deck, during, all that kind of stuff is in the 4-level deck. So, starting with the Elder, who's John, you have 2 points, but John's special power is that you can get 1 2-point card for every one of the cards that you have. So for John, you have the special ability to actually get 2 for 1 kind of in this case. Normally if you buy 1 card, you'll pick the top 2 cards and get to choose. If you get more than 1 card, you just kind of random draw off the top. So John gets to have 2 cards based on his power, and you're going to take the 2 cards you just bought and the 2 cards you had and put them face up into your discard pile. Peter, you have 4 points, and this is where your special power kicks in, okay? You get access to a miracle right away. So you get 2 cards that you get to pick from. So you can have this card, which removes all the grow stops from the region, or you can get this card, which adds 2 church members for every apostle or missionary that's on the board. So between the 2 of them, this is the card that you want to play with 6 players. So you take this card, you put it with your face-up cards in your discard pile, and then you take the card you don't want and you put it back down underneath the 4-level deck. You have 2 points, so you want a 2-point card. You get to pick from these 2. You can just look to see what books of the Bible we don't already have, and then you can look to see board effects. So like we already have this one in your deck, so you probably want to take that one and put this one back as on the 2-level sun. You have 2 points, so you get to choose from the 2-level deck. You have 3 points, so you get to choose from the 3-level deck. How many points do you have over there? 2. Okay, so which card did you not want from here?
I'll take this one.
Okay, so you get to pick from these 2. You don't have this symbol in your deck, so you probably want that one. And you've already purchased one, right? Okay, so now this is the hardest part of the game. So follow with me closer. You want that one?
Do I want?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then you can put this please back on the bottom of the 3-level deck. Okay, so the cards you just bought and the cards you had in your hand are now face up in your discard pile. Okay, so now we need to go back to the beginning of the round and arm new cards. Okay, so you're going to draw what's left of your draw pile, which in this case is 2, and put those into your hand. Okay, but you need 6 cards. So now you shuffle your discard pile and you draw 4 more cards into your hand. In the future, if you have 6 cards to draw from, leave your discard pile alone. Everybody make sense?
Yes. So I have a flood.
All right, here we are about halfway through the game. You can see the teams about halfway across the board. But down here in the New Testament, they haven't made much progress on that New Testament card, so they're going to have to start working on that as they go. All right, so here we go. Lots of people. Peter just performed a whole bunch of miracles and got some church members on the board. So you got lots of people. Unfortunately, we've snuffed out 2 churches already. So we lose 3 more, and it's all over but the crying. Thanks. Turn a trial card over though. All right, here we are. We're coming down to the wire. We've got 3 turns left. We've got several cards left to get. And we've got a really high concentration of church members. That means they're probably not expanding as rapidly as they need to expand. But we'll see how it all pans out.
And then
with 6 players, anything is possible.
So just move forward then. You want to?
I can stop for the demo. Awesome. It's right over there on the clipboard. Thanks for stopping by.
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's our last one. We're not going to win. We didn't meet our
1. Dun dun dun.
She doesn't have any members.
Okay, so nobody to lose, but we can't talk. Okay, there's a lot of non-verbal communication going on right now, and I'm just saying, I don't know that's in the intent of the rules, but the rules specifically say no talking, so you can interpret that however you'd like in your group. All right, Peter's the elder, got to make some choices about what they're going to do. What's it going to be? Use that card, fill in some books, okay, what else? And that card, fill in another book. Okay, you get 2 moves. It's 1, 2. Okay, and you can grow. One last cube goes right there. Okay, so that is the end of the game because the trial decks have run out. So we had 3 left. We had the board. We missed 1, 2
books.
2, 3, 4 territories and 2 books. So it was pretty close, and then they needed probably another round or maybe 2 to finish. So. All right, first game of commission. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Woohoo! Even though they lost, that's good news. Okay. All right, so going around the table, I'm going to start over here and work around. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1's the worst game you ever played, 10's the best. What would you give it? Be honest.
Me?
8.
8.
I was gonna say 9.
Okay.
9.
9.
8.
8.
Okay, perfect. So, best thing about the game. Starting over here again. Sorry.
Working together.
Okay.
I like the deck building.
Okay.
I just like the spreading of it.
Okay.
I like the deck building.
I actually like the trials.
Okay.
I liked how for some you couldn't talk.
Okay. All right. Any questions about the game after you've played it the first time?
No.
No.
Try again.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so what you haven't seen in the game is that there's 4 other scenarios that you get to play. There's also another more difficult deck. So if you thought this was easy, or if you would think it was easy after you played it again, you can bump up the difficulty. And then there's an adversary variant where you can play 1 against the team, and the bad guy controls the order of the trials and moves the Roman legion around the board, putting stops in the path of the church. So there's a lot of game in this box. And just as a reminder for everybody, game goes up on Kickstarter for on the 3rd of June. It'll be $39. We are hoping that everybody will chime in and support us in the Kickstarter. Thanks for playing.